One of my favorite things about music is the energy and mood it can convey along with the story it's telling. And while it's easy to think of a vocalist in a band being the main storyteller, I believe that great musicians can tell a story using just their instruments as well. And perhaps my favorite instrument to hear these stories being told through is an instrument that's been played with great intensity over the years: the drums. So today I'm going to be highlighting some of the most beastly drummers I've heard of in the last decade. I'm talking the most high-energy, squid-like humans that crank out the most technical, creative, and bombastic beats track after track. So after doing some serious beast hunting over the last week, here are 9 drummers in no particular order that I feel represent the title of Absolute Beast. And up first is Larnell Lewis from Snarky Puppy. Now, not only is Larnell's master ability on the drums something from out of this world, but one of his characteristics that's truly extraordinary is his ability to inherently absorb a song and then write beautifully crafted yet organic drum parts to that song that he's just heard, even without having played those songs along with the band live. Perhaps the most famous example of this being his drum performances on Snarky Puppy's We Like It Here live album, where Larnell flew into the Netherlands the day of the recording while only having listened to drumless tracks of the songs on the flight over, writing the drum parts in his head. The members of Snarky Puppy were forced to rehearse the songs for the album without a drummer for the days leading up to the recording due to their scheduled drummer Robert Seawright, or Sput, not being able to make it over to the Netherlands for tracking.
So we get there and it's like, yes, we're at the studio, like we got all the gear with us, like we're gonna get out, we're gonna start setting up. I'm like really excited. And so I walk out, I'm like walking into the studio to check it out, and then the first thing someone says, they come up to me and they're like, so you heard about Sput, right?
Well, for the first 3 days of rehearsal, we didn't have a drummer.
So basically you have no drummer right now, but you have a backup, or what's the deal?
Yeah, I called, I put out a message to a few people, and, you know, the guy that I really wanted was available, so he's flying out. It's gonna be fine either way. Yeah.
There was a certain point after like maybe the second day or something where we were rehearsing something and I was just like not feeling it. And I was just kind of like, well, you know, maybe this record's just the one that's not gonna be that good.
And then Larnell came in like Superman and played his tail off. Good Lord.
And needless to say, Larnell killed it, and these sessions have held their ground over the last 10 years as being one of the greatest recorded live albums that I've ever heard. Larnell's instinct for percussion and rhythm have earned him the title of one of the most beastly drummers of the last decade. Up next is Adam Betts from Three Trapped Tigers and Colossal Squid. Now, Adam has one of those drum sounds that really caught my attention the first time I heard and especially saw him drumming. His technical drumming skills are insanely tight, and he often incorporates many auxiliary pieces that make his drumming something really special to watch. His high energy, tight, and fast playing make him a blast to see perform, especially his solo project Colossal Squid, where instead of playing along with pre-recorded tracks, he triggers all of the electronic accompaniment through drum triggers, foot switches, and a Roland SPDSX.
The combination of all this technology is how I'm playing all the music on my solo record.
Now, if you're into electronic, experimental math rock type stuff, I definitely recommend checking out both Three Trapped Tigers and Colossal Squid. Adam has also written some more toned down synthy pop type stuff with his band Emperor Yes back in the early to mid 2010s. Up next is Eric Improda from Night Verses. Now, footage of Eric playing the drums pretty well speaks for itself. He's got maxed out stats on technique, speed, creativity, and agility. Eric's attention deficit drumming videos started popping up in 2015, and he hasn't slowed down one bit since then. Now, Eric's drumming stands up really well on its own. He weaves in a lot of different creative techniques for getting sounds out of a drum kit that not a lot of people can. He truly can make a drum kit sing, and he's just super fun to watch. Now, Eric also founded and still writes and performs with his band Night Verses alongside longtime bandmates Nick DePiero and Riley Herrera, the three of which being bandmates in several projects over the years leading up to Night Verses, including the band The Sound Archive. Now, Eric continues to make an impression on fans and musicians alike with his high-energy playing and his dedication to the instrument. Having been a runner-up in Guitar Center's Drum Off in 2012, receiving a nomination for Best Drummer in 2017 from Alternative Press Music Awards, tracking the drums for K-Flay's 2023 album Mono, and even filling in for Korn's drummer Ray Luzier while he had COVID in a 2021 tour. Now, Eric also founded the group Fever 333. They're a rap rock metal group alongside former Chariot guitarist Steven Harrison and former Let Live vocalist Jason Allen Butler. Eric and Steven have since left the band, with Eric being replaced by our next beastly drummer, Thomas Pridgen. Now, Thomas has been wowing the drumming world for a very long time and from a very young age. He started playing drums at the age of 4. He would win a Guitar Center Drum Off at the age of 9, and he would be awarded a 4-year scholarship to Berklee at the age of 15. Pridgen had a brief stint touring with the hip-hop group The Coup before exploding into the experimental rock scene in 2007 as the new drummer for the Mars Volta, replacing then-founding member John Theodore. Thomas's debut on the Mars Volta's 2008 album The Bedlam and Goliath solidified his existence as the 32nd note beast that we all know and love today, while the album itself put the Mars Volta on the map, leading to their US network television debut, as well as a Grammy for Best Hard Rock Performance for their song Wax Simulacra, a song which, according to Pridgen, the main groove was written within his first jam session with the band. Now, Thomas's technicality and speed were perfectly suited for the experimental prog rock sound of the Mars Volta, and he would continue this tenure for just one more year and one more album with the 2009 release of Octahedron, before leaving the band while on tour due to disagreements with other band members, most notably vocalist Cedric Bixler-Zavala. And after this departure, Pridgen would stay busy in the music world, quickly forming the Memorials with former Berklee classmates Vivica Hawkins and Nick Brewer, releasing 2 studio albums and going on several tours to support these releases. In 2011, Pridgen would join supergroup Giraffe Tongue Orchestra alongside Ben Wyman from Dillinger Escape Plan, Brent Hines from Mastodon, Eric Avery from Jane's Addiction, and eventually William Duvall from Alice in Chains. However, in an ironic twist of fate, Pridgen would be temporarily replaced the next year by John Theodore, though Pridgen would return in 2015. Following his initial departure from GTO in 2012, Thomas would collaborate in multiple projects, including a band called 10 with Eric McFadden and Norwood Fisher. He'd record a studio album with Eric Gales and Doug Pinnick called Pinnick Gales Pridgen, as well as brief stints drumming with Suicidal Tendencies and Chiodos. He'd also go on to record numerous studio albums, including the album No Peace with the band Trash Talk, as well as I mentioned earlier, joining and still being an active member in the group Fever 333. Up next on the list is Billy Reimer from the Dillinger Escape Plan. Now, joining Ben Wyman and company in 2009 was the off-time groove-slinging blast beat master himself, Billy Reimer. Billy's ability to play with both incredible speed and precision made him a perfect addition to the band, locking in with the chaotic guitar and bass riffs, while adding his own flair of dynamics, fills, and grooves that have made the albums with Billy have a certain character to them that have really drawn me in over the years. I mean, just listen to these parts on Chinese Whispers from Dillinger's 2010 album Option Paralysis. Although Dillinger has since come to an amicable end as of 2017, Billy has stayed plenty busy writing music with other projects such as NK, No Machine, and most recently hardcore band Thought Crimes, as well as tracking drum tracks for the majority of Glassjaw's album Material Control, and joining bands such as Psychostick, Horror, and Suicidal Tendencies. Up next is Blake Boston from Delta Sleep. Blake's energy and speed are enough to make his playing impressive, but his ability to pump up the dynamics of Delta Sleep's intricate indie math rock songs with his bombastic playing and his out-of-pocket fills and grooves are really what sets him apart from the rest. His grooves can somehow simultaneously complement the bass, guitars, and vocals of a song, while also just standing out and feeling independent of everything else all at the same time. Now, Blake joined Delta Sleep in 2013 and he's been a core member of the band ever since, laying down the complex rhythms of the band alongside bassist Dave Jackson, guitarist Glenn Hodgson, and guitarist and vocalist Devin Ucille, cranking out 3 full-length studio albums, a surprise EP called Younger Years, that's it, as well as an acoustic album that they recorded all over the world, doing all of this while touring all over the world consistently after album releases. Our next beast on the list is Matt Garska from Animals as Leaders. Now, Matt grew up in a musical environment. He was the son of a professional musician, and he was introduced to the drums at the age of 8, and he would soon begin performing with his father's band just a few years later. Getting his start in rock, blues, and reggae, Matt would soon expand his repertoire of drumming styles into jazz, funk, fusion, and Latin grooves. And these influences would come to fruition in 2012 when Matt would join the up-and-coming band Animals as Leaders, blending his then developed styles into grooves that really suit the prog, metal, djent band's complex rhythmic style, for their first album to feature him on drums being The Joy of Motion. Now, Matt's complicated kick drum work, his dynamic accents, and his tight grooves are all a defining characteristic of Animals as Leaders' music, complementing the technical and theatrical style that they crank out. And Matt has only continued to make a name for himself as a beast of a drummer over the last 10 years, being featured in Drum Magazine, being featured on the cover of Modern Drummer, as well as being named Best Progressive Drummer by Music Radar in 2012. All this alongside writing and performing and recording with other bands and artists such as Josh De La Victoria, Tony Blackman, and the group Gobi System, who blends traditional African-style music with hip-hop. Up next is the man, the Swede, the legend himself, Thomas Hawk Meshuggah. Now, Thomas has been drumming with Meshuggah since 1990, and over the last 30 years, he's solidified himself as one of the greatest metal drummers of all time. Thomas's innate ability to multitask all of his limbs into these complex polyrhythms and patterns that leave you with drum parts that both blow your mind, yet make the complicated guitar parts just make sense. Now, Meshuggah's approach to writing by tracking and programming using a DAW and a computer versus writing music live through jamming allows them to really structure out their intricate rhythms and create music in their own unique way, which I feel is reflected on all of the parts in the music, especially Thomas's technical and precise drum patterns.
We never jam as a band. We never go to the rehearsal space like several of us and just mess around.
Play together, get a
feel.
feel.
We haven't done that in 15 years at least. So basically it will be an idea like from a guitar, from what just that someone has up here. Sometimes it comes completely kind of from a drummer's like rhythmical perspective where I will like mess around on the kit and then I find something like, yeah, this is
something.
awesome
It could be
sounding.
something,
Yeah,
yeah.
this sounds like this could be something cool. Then I kind of immediately leave the drum set and I just take that to the computer world, what it's like fresh. Sometimes I will just record it on the phone or something. And then I'll just start programming it.
Now, Hawk is a beast not only because of his superb drumming ability, but also because of the fact that he actually writes a majority of the lyrics and vocal parts for Meshuggah's music, making him an integral factor in how the finished albums ultimately sound, and, of course, making him just a beast of a musician in general. And last but not least is Zach Hill from Hella and Death Grips. I mean, would this even be a video about beast drummers if we didn't talk about the animal himself, Zach Hill? And when it came down to the criteria that I came up with for this video on what would classify someone as a beast on the drums, Zach not only checks all the boxes, but he's got max stats in all categories as far as I'm concerned. He's quick, he's technical, bombastic, creative, unique, and just downright nasty on the drums. Zach's playing is so organic, it feels like the drum kit is just an extension of his own body. He's got that much control on what he's playing. And his drum parts make you question everything you even know about drum patterns and grooves and just the overall approach that one would take when even considering what it looks or sounds like to play the drums. Now, Zach's unconventional and experimental approach to drumming has led to multiple avant-garde-esque projects over the years, starting with his band Hella in 2001 alongside Spencer Seam on guitar. And side note, Spencer is a beast of a drummer himself. He's been playing drums in a band with Aaron Ross called Solos, as well as a band called The Advantage, who cover a wide array of 8-bit retro video game music. Also on Zach Hill's well-earned resume are several solo albums, as well as recording and being an active member in several bands over the years, including Bygones with Nick Reinhardt, The ILYs, Flosin, Holy Smokes, Crime and Choir, Apotheke, Undo K from Hot, and Team Sleep with Chino Moreno from the Deftones. He's also recorded several albums with Marty Stern, Mick Barr, and Omar Rodriguez Lopez. And honestly, the list just goes on and on. This guy truly lives and breathes the drums. And we can't forget about Zach's current project, Death Grips.
We describe our music as accelerated.
Get, got blood rushed in my head, they hot like popping off the block, now clock and wristlet, watch been top off.
Most of our music, I would say, kind of comes from a negative place as far as the source of it, like a dissatisfaction with our own personal lives. But then ultimately, it turns into a positive because that's why we end up expressing ourselves. And then that comes to a place of like empowerment.
Death Grips is an experimental hip-hop rap group with Andy Morin and Stefan Burnett, aka MC Ride. And it's a truly new way to experience hip-hop and rap, and it's definitely worth a listen. Well, there you have it, my list of some of the most beastly drummers I've heard over the last 10 years. I'm sure I've missed some great drummers who you think should be on this list, and I'm already working on a part 2, so if you think of somebody, definitely let me know. I'll get them on the list. And thanks for watching. See you next time.